Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun videos here on YouTube. Today, we're going to be going through each individual character, not in one video, but in separate videos. So if you want to stay tuned for more, you're more than welcome to. Of course, there has been characters that have recently got a refresh, so I'm going to try to focus on them as much as I can, but by also going into different characters. Now, there might be some things that I end up missing out on, but don't get too carried away with it, because of course, nobody's perfect, right? But here, I'm basically going to give you a quick guide to each character or individual characters per se to kind of go over what you think would be a good choice for Don't Starve Together. Now, I haven't done a tier list for a character guide in a while. However, going forward in the future, I will be making a 2024 character tier list. Basically, once all of the skill sets are all finished for all the characters and Don't Starve Together, as if you don't know, each character is now getting a skill tree. So when those are finished, I will release one for those too. Basically, rechanging around any characters that might have changed their positions depending on their skill set. Now, let's start with the basic of the basic, or I wouldn't say basic, I'd say the neutral character, Wilson. In Don't Starve Together, we all know that Wilson is the main character coming from Don't Starve single player, where Wilson is the beginner character to everything, along with Willow. When it comes to Wilson specifically, known as, just like I said, the neutral character. When we click on Wilson, you can now see that there's a skill set attached to Wilson. Well, Wilson was actually the first character to actually get this skill set. And I'm going to call it a skill tree because that's literally what it is. It's a skill tree. Now, in this skill tree specifically, you have different options, which of course you gain by playing Don't Starve Together. So while you play the game, you eventually unlock skills trees and blah, 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 blah. You can follow up to a guide on how to get easy skill points by literally advancing the days and so on and so on. Anyways, all you got to do is kind of look at these different affinities. In the torch section, you have the ability to make torches last longer. You also have the ability to make them brighter too. So as you decide to spend your points, you can decide on that. Then later on, you can decide if you want to attach it to a torch toss, literally letting you toss a torch. Otherwise, he has an alchemy thing, which most people tend to like too, where you take 3 rocks and transform into flint, 2 flint into a rock, and so on, different kind of like transmutations depending on what you do. And these can easily be transformed yourself by just basically learning them. Some of them are actually pretty cool. 6 rot into manure is actually pretty reasonable, believe it or not, although it's probably not necessary to do that, but I mean, whatever. 2 hound's teeth into a bone shard, 2 bone shards into a hound's teeth. This is actually really good because a lot of bone shards are, especially if you have lots of players around you dying all the time, it can be converted pretty good. But of course, there's better ways spent. The gem one's pretty cool too. Anyways, going through that, the beard insulation is, of course, amazing. Gain high insulation from your beard. This probably should have been my top priority, but for some reason it's not. But anyways, and then you can also make your beard grow faster and, of course, stash food in your beard. I don't remember. I wanted to kind of like, actually, while I'm doing this, why don't we just do this together, you know, learn all these ones, because this is actually probably the best of the best. I don't know why I didn't do this. And of course, learn the main one too. Then there's affinity, basically saying, do you care about the shadows or do you care about the lunar? And they give you different things. Descriptive Founder will reward your curiosity with the secrets of lunar transmutations, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, just different things that you can do with Wilson. But let's get into the game because that's what we all care about. Choose your little outfit, have a fun time, and get into the constant. Now, inside of Don't Starve Together, as you know, it's already basically getting to almost darkness. So let's go ahead and put ourselves in creative mode. I'm just going to give myself a little torch here. Let's go with a headlamp. There we go. Perfect. And that. Now that I have my little miner hat, I can run around. I don't need it on right now. Anyways, Wilson is your basic character. Starts out with pretty much generic stats, 150 hunger, 200 sanity, and 150 HP, which is actually pretty decent. Wilson is a neutral character, and by that I mean that there is really no downsides to Wilson. He's not going to do anything other than just your neutral ability. So actually, Wilson is a fairly decent character all around. If you join Don't Starve Together and you're actually playing as Wilson, you're kind of doing yourself a little bit of a favor if you're starting to play as Wilson, because honestly, there's really no downsides. None whatsoever. Wilson has the ability, of course, just like every other character, to lose sanity over time, which is just normal and Don't Starve Together, so nothing to worry about there. However, Wilson can grow a beard, which helps in the installation, basically getting you ready for wintertime. And that beard could be shaved to cast a bunch of other things. You know, if we go under the Wilson category, there says no items match the current filter. So, of course, you can, there's nothing that you can craft technically right now that's special to Wilson. But normal character crafting will appear obviously right here. Now, inside of if you set your affinities, then you will see them under this list too, depending on how your skill tree is. So that being said, when it comes to Wilson, you can eat pretty much anything, you can do pretty much anything, and you're not going to have any downsides. You're, like I said, going to be growing a nice, magnificent beard and playing the game with a generic character that is pretty much the way to do it. In my opinion, if you are playing Don't Starve Together, Wilson is one of the characters that you should play as from the beginning. Wilson and I would probably say Wendy are my two choices, as both those characters are really darn good. Now, a lot of you might be sitting there saying, Wilson's not that good. Why are you suggesting Wilson? Well, if you are a new player to Don't Starve Together, even if you're a veteran player, Wilson is not that bad of a character. No downsides is actually a big thing, and I keep repeating that because you will see soon with all the other characters how soon you can actually hurt your sanity depending on what character you are, and so on and so forth. So there are ways, to make Wilson very beneficial just by playing other characters and finally realizing how Wilson stands above the rest. So go out there, enjoy your day as Wilson. Play around with the skill trees. If you like the torch thing, feel free to do it. But whatever else you got to do, just do it up. Wilson, you're probably a pretty good character in my book. So if you decide to play Wilson, let me know down in the comments if Wilson is your favorite character, because I know for me, Wilson is semi top tier. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.